With every kind of media, there comes a time when someone tries to adapt it to a live-action movie or series. It doesn't matter whether it's an animated show, video game, book, comic book, or today's topic, anime and manga. The recent Netflix One Piece show has been received pretty well, and it makes me want to dive into other live-action adaptations to look at their highs and their lows. The first live-action manga adaptation I could find was Dokuben, released back in 1977. And since then, there's been a metric fuck ton of these adaptations. And I'd like to say that they've been getting better in recent years. Yeah, and no. But hey, I enjoy a bad movie as much as the next guy. So I want to start looking at these movies and series to see if I can find a needle in this haystack of mediocrity. And what better way to start this off than with one of my favourite series of all time, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a manga series written by Hirohiko Araki that's been running since 1987, and it is huge. While most other popular shonen series collaborate with brands like Vans and Uniqlo, JoJo's collaborations include the likes of Balenciaga, Gucci, and Mercedes-Benz. The fanbase is massive, the references are everywhere, and I personally love the series. The series is divided into 9 separate parts, with each following a different member of the Joestar family. Phantom Blood, Battle Tendency, Stardust Crusaders, Diamond is Unbreakable, Golden Wind, Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run, JoJo Leon, and the JoJo Lands, which is currently still publishing. Coincidentally, this movie is actually based on my favourite part of the series, Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. This part of the series sees Josuke Higashikata and his friends try to stop a serial killer who's operating in their quiet town of Morio in the late 1990s. It's kind of weird that they decided to adapt the 4th part of the series, but I don't care, I'm happy about it. I want to start by highlighting the parts of the movie that I actually enjoy. I tried to go in with a neutral mindset, but I'll be honest, the reputation of adaptations like these didn't have me very hopeful.
I'm not gonna give the note to you or anybody else, and if you fuck with me again, I'm gonna put your name in it.
Considering the flamboyant designs of the JoJo series, I think they've done a decent job translating the designs here. They gave the majority of characters their wacky ass hairstyles from the manga, and I love the faithfulness even if they look ridiculous.
You serious, my brother?
A lot of the clothes are done as well as they can be without having to bedazzle the clothes to an insane degree. If it was perfectly accurate, Josuke would be walking around looking like Mr. T. But considering the bland colours of a lot of the settings, I would have liked to see some brighter clothes on the characters to make them stand out more. The movie's story is pretty faithful to the original series, but the sequence of certain events is changed to accommodate for this being a self-contained story as opposed to a continuation of an already existing manga run. There are a few added scenes that weren't in the manga or anime, but I think their inclusion makes a lot of sense. They used to develop characters more since they play a larger role in the movie than they did in the original series. Those are the main things that I really enjoyed about the movie, not that the rest of it is bad, but I want to look at the movie in more detail from here. The movie begins very differently than the original story. We begin with Angelo escaping from the police and Keicho giving him his stand. And after Angelo's escape, we move on to our title sequence, which is pretty faithful to the aesthetic of Part 4. So far, so good. The movie then starts to follow the manga more faithfully, focusing on Koichi as he describes Mario, makes his way to school, but instead of running into the most unreasonably buff marine biologist of all time, he runs into the local bullies. And now we meet our main man, Josuke Higashikata.
Hi. Look at the top of his head!
Josuke does the Josuke thing and gets angry when one of them takes the piss out of his hair. We get the regular convenience store incident, but it's positioned a lot earlier in the story than in the manga and the anime. Originally this happens after Josuke meets Jotaro and learns who Angelo is. But after this we get back on track meeting Josuke's nephew who's like 10 years older than him. I love the way they managed to incorporate Jotaro's fucked up hat hair situation, but I just wish he was a bit bigger. Jotaro's meant to make me feel inadequate as a man. He should be able to intimidate enemy stand users just by spreading his lats. In between the faithful story scenes, the movie gives us more time with characters who were relatively minor in this part of the original run. I think it's a good thing as they're more important in this story that has a smaller scope. There are more scenes emphasising Josuke's connection with his family, and his grandpa especially, considering what eventually happens. We get to see Angelo and the Nijimura brothers getting up to their silly goofy antics like stalking, murder, and being a dick to Koichi for no reason. And we get introduced to Yukiko a lot earlier, and the movie captures her deal perfectly. So Angelo invades Josuke's house and the fight proceeds as normal, with Angelo eventually being turned into a rock.
That's just a stupid boulder!
It's not just a boulder! It's a rock! A rock!
And here I noticed that for the majority of the scene that they're in, stands like Star Platinum and Crazy Diamond are far too transparent for my liking. I mean, kinda? I think the majority of the time the stands look pretty good, but I think the sequences involving them can be a bit too quick. Like look at this punch Josuke lands on Okuyasu later. I didn't edit that scene is just that quick. And this might be nitpicking, but the scene of Crazy Diamond punching through Tomoko feels rushed in the movie. I felt like the anime gave us more time to see it happen. It gives you time to have that moment of, what the fuck is going on, this is pretty bizarre, before progressing. And if you're reading the manga, you can just pause as long as you want and stay on the page. It gives you time to process what's going on. Instead of taking place over several days, the fight with Angelo is done in one night. And so we move on to Ryohei's funeral. And Josuke sees someone looking pretty inconspicuous across the road. So he and Koichi follow him until...
destroy the child.
And the fight with the Nijimura brothers proceeds as normal, with Okuyasu getting laid out by an ornament, and Keicho showing us that military intervention is always a blessing. To try and save Josuke, Koichi's stand appears.
Can I offer you a nice egg?
Echoes actually hatches much earlier than it did originally, with it distracting Keicho long enough to give Josuke an opening. We learn about Keicho and Okuyasu's dad, and the movie really nails what an ugly bastard he is. The party is attacked by an unknown stand like in the original story, but instead of it being Red Hot Chili Pepper, it's actually sheer heart attack. So it's Kira attacking the gang. No, not that one. Definitely not that one. Yeah, that one. And this shot of Keicho should go alongside those skeleton pictures on the Pictures That Go Hard Instagram account. So the movie ends with Josuke having assembled his gang of Koichi and Okuyasu and promising to protect Morio. And I think they tried to tease Yukiko's stand here. I can't really tell. And finally, the movie teases Kira with, I shit you not, a shot of his jars of nail clippings. Who thought this was a good idea? You could have just had the shot of the severed hand and the arrow, but you just had to show off his dusty ass nail clipping collection. I'll be honest, I went into this expecting this movie to be dog shit, but it's actually not terrible. It's fun, corny, and faithful where it counts. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. If you already like the series, I think you'll have fun with the movie. It's just not going to change anyone's life.